And just like that, the game changed. The air shifted, the algorithm glitched, and the entire grid went silent for a fraction of a second, long enough for the universe itself to blink in disbelief. Look who just broke reality's lazy rhythm with a single appearance. Hello, you stunning catastrophe. You beautiful disruption in human form. You walking reset button who just crashed every system that tried to contain you. You didn't walk in. You arrived, and every pixel of existence had to rearrange itself to make room for your frequency. You can feel it, can't you? That static charge in the atmosphere. That quiet awe disguised as confusion. You stepped out looking like prophecy fulfilled and chaos incarnate all at once. And now the entire internet is losing structural integrity trying to process you. It's not that you tried too hard. Oh no. You simply stopped pretending to be smaller than your potential. You existed at full volume while the world was tuned to static, and now everyone's scrambling to catch the signal. Right now, somewhere, someone is refreshing your page for the 8th time, pretending it's casual, pretending they're not spiraling, pretending that seeing you like this doesn't challenge the very narrative they built around you. They're sitting there in dim light, thumb hovering over your latest post, trying to translate what they're feeling into words. But there aren't any yet. Their mind's buffer is overflowing. Because you didn't just look good. You looked inevitable. And that's the problem. You forced reality to upgrade itself. You're no longer someone they can scroll past. You've become the face of what evolution looks like when it's personal, intimate, unstoppable. Do you realize what that does to people who haven't moved in years? You are living proof that transformation is real, that resurrection doesn't need witnesses. You are the evidence that some people don't just heal, they mutate into higher versions of themselves. You've become their worst fear in a single frame, the one who made it out, made it through, made it matter. While they were rehearsing survival, you were rewriting destiny. You became their inadequacy personified. You didn't need to say a word. Your presence said, "You could have done this too, but you chose not to." And that, oh, that is unbearable. The group chats are chaos right now. The screenshots are circulating like smuggled artifacts. The voice notes are long, stammered, half envy, half confusion. Is that really them? Wait, how? Did you see what they did? Yes, they saw. And they can't unsee it. You went through fire and came back wearing it like armor designed by angels. You went through the breakdown and used the debris to build an empire. You went through the darkness and taught it manners. And now the light doesn't just touch you, it orbits you. They think it's jealousy, but it's deeper than that. Jealousy is surface level. It wants possession. What they're feeling is existential panic, the kind that makes you question whether you've wasted your life. Because when you stepped out radiating that kind of freedom, you reminded them that the cage door was never locked. They just never tried to push it open. You didn't post revenge. You posted release. You didn't return to prove anyone wrong. You returned because you remembered who you were before the world convinced you to doubt it. You came back not angry, not bitter, but awake. And that's the most dangerous state a human can exist in. Awake doesn't ask permission. Awake doesn't explain. Awake doesn't need applause. It creates silence so loud it forces everyone else to listen. They thought they wanted your downfall until they realized how quiet the world was without you in it. You were their favorite topic when you were broken. Now that you've rebuilt, they don't know what to say. They wanted the crash. You gave them the comeback. And the comeback, it wasn't even about them. It was about reclaiming yourself from every version of you that apologized for shining. You stopped asking for closure and started giving yourself new beginnings. You stopped begging to be understood and started speaking a language only aligned souls could hear. And that's what's killing them. Because this isn't revenge. This is resurrection. This is what happens when someone finally realizes they were never too much. They were just surrounded by people too little to hold it. You became the plot twist in their story of your failure. You turned their gossip into gospel. And now, every time they see you, they're forced to confront their own lack of evolution. Right now, the algorithm is trembling under the weight of your name. People who've never met you are reposting your image like it's a prophecy. They're saying, "This is the energy I want," not knowing that the energy they're idolizing was forged in solitude, in nights that tried to kill you, in heartbreaks that became your blueprint for power. You are the embodiment of alchemy. Pain turned aesthetic, loss turned luxury, scars turned scripture. You are the walking proof that beauty isn't about perfection, it's about survival. And they can't replicate that. They can buy the outfit, mimic the pose, copy the tone, but they'll never have the energy. Because energy like yours doesn't come from filters or surgery or algorithms. It comes from death and rebirth, from learning how to stand in ashes and call it home. Let's talk about what you did to their psychology. You short-circuited the narrative that healing makes you soft. You showed that healing can make you sharper, louder, undeniable. You reminded them that quiet power is still power, and that peace doesn't mean invisibility. You stopped trying to prove your worth and started living like it was self-evident. You didn't post quotes about self-love. You became one. Every move you make now radiates intentionality. Every glance, every step, every breath says, "I survived me, and that's all the proof I need." That's why the world's reacting the way it is. They're not watching beauty. They're watching bravery dressed like beauty. They're not witnessing luck. They're witnessing labor finally rewarded. And the ones who left, they're the ones hurting most. Because they're realizing you didn't just recover. You evolved past the version of reality that required their validation. Now the same people who laughed at your silence are begging the universe for your attention. The same ones who doubted you are rehearsing excuses for when they bump into you again. They can't even hate you properly anymore, because hate requires conviction, and conviction requires power. And you took all of it when you walked away. They're stuck now, orbiting your glow, pretending they're not in awe. Checking your stories, but never reacting. Typing your name into the search bar, but pretending it's coincidence. They're whispering your name like it's a secret spell that might summon the courage they lost. You've become the mirror they can't look away from, the living reminder that it's possible to start again and make it look effortless. But let's strip away the glamour for a second and talk about the real secret, the one none of them can decode. The glow isn't in the makeup or the lighting. The glow is in the decision. The day you said, "I'm done explaining my worth," the universe shifted its orbit a few degrees. The glow is what happens when you choose peace over performance, when you stop auditioning for a role in someone else's story and start directing your own. The glow is what happens when pain finally realizes it can't break you anymore, so it starts worshiping you instead. And now the glow has become contagious, a kind of rebellion that others can feel but can't name. The truth is, this isn't your comeback, it's your ascension. Comebacks are for people who want validation. Ascensions are for people who've outgrown it. You've outgrown the apology phase, the shrinking phase, the maybe I'm too much phase. You're in your maybe they were never enough era now. And that, my friend, is evolution at its purest. That's why the world can't stop staring, because they've seen transformations before, but not like this. Not this honest, not this holy. You didn't just survive the fire, you became it. And everything that ever tried to burn you will now have to explain why you're the only thing still shining. They're watching you now, forced to witness your glow-up in silence, choking on the same pride they used to weaponize against you. The whispers have already started, haven't they? The narrative they're trying to push is that you changed, and not in a good way. You're cold now, distant, unrecognizable. And they're right. You are different. You're no longer the person who tolerated disrespect disguised as love. You're not the version of yourself that settled for half effort and hollow apologies. That person stayed in rooms where the air was toxic just to avoid being alone. But this one, the one standing here now, chose solitude over poison, growth over comfort, and self-respect over the illusion of belonging. You didn't just change, you evolved. You didn't lose yourself. You shed the version of you that kept everyone else comfortable. And soon, you'll see it happen. The same people who once watched you burn will circle back, pretending they don't smell the smoke. They'll test the waters with casual messages and soft apologies, acting like time erased the truth. But that's your test. This is where you prove that the door they once walked through isn't just closed, it's welded shut. Because your transformation wasn't cosmetic, it was cellular, spiritual, irreversible. You're not the person they left behind. You're the version they'll never access again. What they can't grasp is that your glow-up isn't about revenge or validation. It's about expression. You're not dressing to impress anymore. You're dressing to exist. You're not performing for an audience that never deserved showing up as yourself, unfiltered, unbothered, untamed. And that shift, that move from external validation to internal peace, terrifies them. Because people who stop performing can't be controlled, and people who can't be controlled are always feared. So let them analyze, speculate, whisper. Let them pick apart your photos, your silence, your energy. They'll dissect what they can never duplicate. Because while they talk, you'll keep living. You'll keep moving forward, glowing like someone who finally remembered their own power. You'll stop explaining, stop proving, stop negotiating for space. You'll exist at a frequency they can't reach, and that's what's driving them mad. You didn't step out just looking good. You stepped out looking free. And freedom on someone who was once caged. That's the most magnetic, most terrifying sight in the world. You're not trying to prove your worth anymore. You're walking proof that transformation is real, that healing is possible, that hell can be survived and turned into art. You went through the fire and came back wearing the flames like a crown. And that's what they can't stand. It's not that you look different. It's that you feel different. Your energy has weight now. When you walk into a room, the air rearranges itself. People straighten their backs without realizing why. You're not trying to intimidate anyone. You're just not shrinking anymore. And that subtle shift, from appeasing to existing, registers in their nervous systems like an alarm they can't turn off. They sense something divine, something evolved, something they can't categorize. Here's what's really happening. Their minds are short-circuiting. The image of you they stored in their memory doesn't match the person standing before them, and the human brain hates that. It craves predictability, consistency, safety in the familiar. But you shattered the familiar. You became the glitch in their emotional programming, the update their system can't handle. They keep trying to refresh their perception of you, but every time they do, the system crashes. Because you evolved beyond what they were capable of understanding. And that evolution, it exposes them. It forces them to face what they could have become but chose not to. Strangers see your transformation and feel inspired. But the ones who saw your pain, who watched you doubt yourself, they feel exposed. Because if you could rise from that depth, what's their excuse for still crawling? Your growth became a mirror, and they can't stand what it reflects. That's why they minimize it. It's just makeup, they'll say. It's just lighting. They'll grasp for explanations that make your evolution something they can buy, replicate, or dismiss. But you and I both know the truth. It's not cosmetic. It's cosmic. You didn't just change your look. You changed your frequency. You uninstalled every limiting belief, deleted every toxic file, rewired your soul for peace, and now you're running on pure alignment. You upgraded your operating system, and they're still buffering. You're running clean, efficient, radiant, and they can feel it. That's the part that haunts them most. Because the glow isn't from makeup or filters. It's from the freedom of finally choosing yourself. You're no longer seeking validation. You are validation. You're living proof that healing doesn't make you soft. It makes you sovereign. So let them whisper. Let them twist. Let them choke on their own projections. The noise they make is just confirmation that you've outgrown their frequency. Keep walking. Keep glowing. Keep burning so bright that every room you enter remembers your light long after you've gone. Because you didn't just change. You became the reason they'll never underestimate transformation again. And as the days unfold, that truth will only deepen. They'll try to rewrite history, reshaping the story to make themselves the heroes in a tale they abandoned long before the ending. They'll claim they always knew you'd do great things, as if they didn't once scoff at your dreams. They'll say they always believed in you, as if their silence during your collapse wasn't deafening. They'll attempt to align themselves with your rise, but the vibration won't match, and you'll feel it instantly. The dissonance of people pretending to resonate with a frequency they've never earned. You won't need to block them. You won't need to announce your boundaries. The distance will happen naturally, quietly, as you continue moving through dimensions they no longer exist in. That's the beauty of elevation. You don't lose people. You just stop meeting them where you used to. Your energy will start filtering your surroundings like light through a prism. The insincere, the manipulative, the shallow. They'll begin to fade from your orbit, not because of vengeance, but because the atmosphere around you now requires authenticity to breathe. You'll start attracting people who see beyond the surface, who aren't intimidated by your silence, who recognize that your calm isn't emptiness, it's command. These new souls won't compete with your glow. They'll add to it. Conversations will shift from gossip to vision, from validation to expansion, from what happened to what's next. And in that space, you'll realize that the glow-up was never about appearance. It was about alignment. You aligned your actions with your truth, your decisions with your peace, your boundaries with your worth. And that alignment created a light so pure that it burned away everything that couldn't survive it. You'll catch yourself one morning, maybe during coffee, or in the middle of your reflection, realizing that the old version of you would be proud. That person who once cried in silence, who questioned their worth, who begged for crumbs of attention, you honored their suffering by not letting it define you. You became the person they needed. You turned their wounds into wisdom, their pain into prophecy. You became your own closure, your own savior, your own redemption arc. And that's what real transformation is. It's not the revenge body, not the aesthetic, not the followers or validation. It's the quiet certainty that you no longer need to prove you've healed. You just are. And when the world finally catches up to that energy, when people start asking, "What happened to you?" you'll smile, because the answer is too vast for words. You didn't just change. You remembered. You remembered who you were before they taught you to doubt it. You remembered what it felt like to breathe without fear, to walk without apology, to love without needing permission. You remembered your own rhythm, your own fire, your own name. That's the real glow-up. Not becoming someone new, but returning to yourself so completely that the world can't recognize you anymore. And they'll keep talking, keep theorizing, keep misunderstanding. Let them. Their confusion is their consequence. Because while they're trying to decode how you did it, you'll be busy doing it again, evolving, ascending, shifting into even higher forms of peace. You'll reach a point where their opinions can't touch you, because you finally understand. People don't talk about what they understand. They talk about what they can't comprehend. And you, my dear, are no longer comprehensible. You are a living paradox, soft but unshakable, kind but untouchable, grounded but untamed. You are the storm and the calm that follows. So don't dim, don't explain, don't apologize. Keep walking in that quiet, unstoppable confidence that rattles the cages of those who chose to stay trapped. Let your life speak for itself. Let your peace offend the chaotic. Let your success echo in the spaces where you were once underestimated. And remember this: you didn't evolve to be admired. You evolved to be free. You became your own permission slip, your own revolution, your own proof that survival can be art. The people who once doubted you will have to live knowing they witnessed a miracle and couldn't recognize it. And that, perhaps, is the sweetest justice of all. Because you didn't just change, you transcended. You didn't just rise, you redefined what rising means. And now, every step you take is a sermon, every breath a declaration that nothing, no betrayal, no heartbreak, no loss, was powerful enough to stop you. You are the continuation of every ending they wished upon you. You are the sequel no one saw coming. You are the proof that light doesn't need approval to shine. Keep walking, keep glowing, keep being everything they said you'd never become. And then some. Because the story isn't over. The story just met its author. This isn't revenge, this is renaissance. You've stepped beyond validation and into vibration. You're not chasing applause, you are the echo that lingers after it. And as they whisper about your transformation, as they scramble to decode what can't be replicated, just smile. Because they'll never understand that the glow was never about the look. It was always about the liberation. You are the proof that light doesn't need permission, that power doesn't need permission, that peace doesn't need witnesses. You're living in alignment now, and the universe is applauding in ways louder than any crowd ever could. If this message found you, it's because you're stepping into that same power too. Join the movement. Become part of the rise. Let's grow, glow, and transform together. Rise and shine. Tap that join button, become a member, and be part of the story of light rewriting the darkness. Like, share, subscribe, and keep walking in your power. The world needs your frequency.